Welcome back, finally, to another edition of Rake Your Position. Where
I apologize.
I swear, there's four of us. Corey's still doing daddy duties tonight, trying to get the kids to bed. So he's going to jump on a little bit, but we're all excited to be here. And if you've forgotten, I am still Aaron, and I'm still the host.
And I am Joe, the groundskeeper. Already with a very odd name. I'm glad they went with the number one option and not the number two option for the Peacock.
Oh man, you've been saving that one for the weeks that we've been off, dude.
No, dude, I came out with that like 15 minutes ago.
Dude,
I'm so
That's
proud of
awesome.
it.
But that also works for both parts of the word. So is it a poop butt instead of a peacock?
Yeah, we don't want to get into it any more than surface level here.
Yeah. With that, I'm Jay Lee the Rover, and for those, as you can see, Corey's not here, but I will just spill some tea on Corey. He uses Donkey Kong in Mario Kart Racing, so if y'all could just chime in and tell him how bad that is.
We all know you got to go to the lightweights, go the speed.
Give that
Yeah.
thumbs down.
Yeah. So sorry, Corey, but had to say it.
Maybe we won't let him back on until he
I think that's a good call.
renounces that call. All right, guys. So a lot has happened. It's been a couple weeks. We've been juggling our schedules. We got personal stuff going on. We got work stuff going on. So it's been super crazy in this summer so far. But a lot of baseball has happened, and the most recent thing was the All-Star break. Games second half resumes tonight, so a lot of games are underway as we record this Friday night. But we just got done with the All-Star break and all the festivities. So I'm just going to open up to the floor. I unfortunately did not get to watch it because it's on ESPN, not on MLB.TV. MLB's paid subscription service, so you can watch their games, does not have the All-Star game on it, which is amazing. So I saw some highlights, and Big Bear hit big homer, but not enough homers. So I don't know much else going on. So open up to the fellas, just pros, cons, highlights, yada yada yada.
Yeah, and I would just like to open it up too with most great podcasts take a break and get rejuvenated.
That's right.
I would just like to say we're probably still going to be about just slightly below average, so don't expect anything better or well, maybe hopefully not worse, but we'll see. But anyway, I watched the majority of the home run derby, and I would like to say I love the changes that they made. I thought it was kept you in tune. The pitch count I thought was awesome. One, because it's making your person who throws you the ball really have to make sure they're in your zone. And like there's a couple people who they had like five bad pitches, and you could tell the hitter was kind of like, dude, we only got like X amount more. So that was pretty cool. I mean, most of those people are just throwing BP all the time, so it really didn't mess with them too much. But so 40 pitches regardless. So I mean, you're swinging most of the time at 40 pitches, which is pretty cool. Keeps it going. And then the bonus round is awesome too. You get 3, and then if you hit one 425 feet, you get an extra one. But you keep hitting homers until you get outs. So like if you have 4 chances and you hit a homer, you don't get an out. You can just keep swinging until you run out, essentially. So you can get that bonus extra out by hitting it 425 feet, which is really cool. So I like the changes actually a lot. I didn't know how I would anticipate liking them, but I think it makes the move along faster, but also like keeps a little bit of strategy and everything behind that too. So
Who do you think you would have as your pitcher if you're in this? Listeners,
dude, I can go right now. I've said this from day one, and I think I might have even told this person that's who I would use, but Coach Allen would be my
I've heard you say that.
Dude.
I was trying to remember like which coach throughout the years would be the best at this because it's
Coach Schultz had the Baki elbow, so there's days that he couldn't throw very good, but Allen was always there.
Just on the money, dude.
Yeah, I'd pick Coach Allen. I like that. The last few years, they've had the timed rounds. They added the time element, and it got going so crazy. Like they're not supposed to get another pitch until the ball lands, but nobody ever followed that. And so it's just constant homers going. You don't get to watch it, you don't get to enjoy it. The batters don't get to enjoy it. So was it as crazy like that this time around? It was still timed.
Still timed, but 40
Yeah.
pitches,
Yeah.
no matter
So
what. So
were they rushed to get those 40 in, or could they knew they had some time to throw the 40?
some rounds you could tell they were rushing at the end, but most of the time people were just on a solid pace. And like you said, you
Yeah.
got to see most of the homers leave the yard, and there's only a few batters towards the end where they were like, "Oh crap, I've only got like 10 seconds and still 5 pitches." So
Yeah.
um,
That's the one thing I like about like in the 90s with the classic home run derbies. I think of when I was a kid, it was 10 outs. And so they took a lot longer. A lot of it is the timing thing for TV. I get that because the home run derbies used to take like 4 or 5 hours, it seemed like, because you got Bonds and Griffey, McGuire all hitting 30 homers and watching every single one of them. But you actually got to enjoy it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I see some good and bad to both, like you're saying, back in the we'll call it the era. We all know what that means. I mean, the bombs that were hit, and then we all can remember back.
Yeah,
I mean,
Berman,
Chris
man.
Berman. But you have that exciting element of it, watching everyone in these bombs. But anything that's timed, that just creates excitement in and of itself. So it's kind of, I think we've all like speed pitched somebody if we're throwing BP. It's fun to just like, and then the guy up at the plate is like rearing back and trying to swing. So trying to squeeze in a few more homers with a few more seconds, with a few more pitches. I would probably find that more exciting rather than the drawn out watching it, but I can,
Especially the way it ended. Did you? I did see the finale, the final swing. Did you see that, Joe?
I don't remember seeing it. No.
Witt needed one more homer to tie Teoscar, and his last pitch, his time expiring, hits it like 398 to the dead center, and it hit the wall. And so it's like the final swing. It's his last pitch, times out. If it goes out, he ties it, and it hit the wall. So it ended good.
I mean, it still just amazes me, and we've definitely talked about this, that how more kids don't get hurt when fielding those balls. It just amazes me.
Didn't finally one did get hurt, which like was a blessing because like MLB like gave him free college or something. I don't know. Am I making that up? Didn't that happen?
Someone got hurt a couple years ago, like got smoked and got carried off, but I never heard anything else about it afterwards. What came up?
Yeah.
With
Oh, I mean, they took care of.
Yeah,
I'm sure, unless he's got some permanent injury, I'm sure it turned out to be all right.
yeah. The one thing is like it doesn't seem like, and I'm just throwing this out there top of my head, so maybe you guys can correct me. Doesn't seem like the star power was in it this year, but it was a lot of young guys that are maybe going to be those stars, like Witt and Henderson. But like Teoscar is like this middle of the road veteran. He won it, so good for him. But I don't know. It just seems like it was missing some big name draw. Like Ozuna was in it. He's been hitting bombs like crazy the last few years, but he's not a top name draw. So
yeah, I mean, I wonder if. Go ahead. Sorry, Joe.
No, go ahead.
Said I know that Otani came out and said that he would have done it if he wasn't rehabbing his arm to pitch again. So like that's his big focus. And then I wonder still if like, with Bryce Harper having that injury just, last year, I wonder if that's still something like they don't want them to go do that or whatever. But I'm pretty sure Otani said that he's going to be up for it next year again. So, cause he enjoyed doing it. So, I agree with you. I mean, I think you had some players who a little bit of star power, but I mean, seeing someone like Bobby Witt be in it, who you're like, oh, I didn't know this dude could hit that many homers, but I mean, he did a really good job. So yeah, you've been high on him since like day one. You probably built a team around him, is what I heard.
An infamous story is when we went and watched Kansas City. We were talking about Bobby Witt. Aaron and Jay Lee are like, this guy's better than Barry Bonds, and I'm like, I think he's
never said that.
Anyway, I infamously said I would not trade Lars Nootbaar for Bobby Witt. Okay, so that's kind of biting me.
Yes.
But the careers are not over. I will say the careers are not over. Back to the home run derby.
And it's still not close. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Barry Bonds.
I mean, Shohei saying, "Oh, I would have been in it if I wasn't rehabbing." Well, that's
fair.
Well, I'll take the other side of that coin. You can say whatever you want. Would you have? Would you not have? Are you using it as an excuse? I almost wonder if it's going to go like the way of
Dunk contest.
the dunk contest. Yeah, thank you. Where back in the day, you had your biggest names doing it all the time, and now it's like, I mean, it's still exciting because these guys can hit homers and these guys can dunk balls, but it's not Aaron Judge, it's not Bryce Harper, it's not Shohei Ohtani, at least not this year. So, in a sport that maybe struggles to market itself, how do you make that more enticing to the players other than just trying to feed off their competitive nature? Because if you're shooting for a $700 million contract, or what do they even get if they win it, like a car or something? I can't blame
You get $1 million
winner-
now, right?
I think you're right. Yeah, I did see that. $1 million. So I guess that's not nothing.
Yeah. I got a fun little trivia for you real quick, I guess. Well, maybe turn into a game. So I was thinking like who should be in it? And I'm thinking about the home run leaders. So I pull up a list here according to statmuse.com. The last 3 years, the top 10 home run hitters over the last 3 years. Looking at these 10, half of them weren't all-stars this year. So maybe, like, I know the dunk contest, a lot of guys show up to do the dunk contest that aren't all-stars. But it does seem like in the MLB, the home run participants are currently all-stars. Otherwise, they don't want to fly out there just to hit the home run derby. So maybe that was part of the issue, too, is a lot of these guys weren't all-stars this year. But just out of curiosity, let's see if you guys can name the top 10. You guys can work as a team. Let's see if you guys get the top 10 home run hitters in the last 3 years.
Last 3 years?
Yeah. Who's hit the most homers over the last 3 years?
I mean, I'll say
Shohei.
Shohei.
Shohei is number 4 with 119.
Judge.
Judge is number 1 with 151.
You counting this year as well?
I'm not sure what the dates are on this. I don't think so. I think it's not counting this year.
So 3 years before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I feel like this is out of left field, and I could be completely wrong here. I'm thinking Kyle Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber's number 3. Yeah.
I was
Like
gonna say
he would be a
Schwarber
blast
for
to
sure.
watch at the home run derby. That'd be fun. 119. So he's third. He's third, tied with Shohei.
So that third is roughly 40 a year.
Yeah.
10.
There's one guy between Judge and Schwarber. That's a little over 40 a year. That won't surprise anybody.
Oh man, we're gonna be here forever because I take forever to think.
He was in it this year.
Oh, Alonso.
Yep, Alonso, 125. So that's the top 4. Judge,
Did we say
Alonso, Schwarber, Ohtani.
How much time did Harper miss in the last 3 years?
Harper's
Quite a
not
bit,
even
right?
Harper's not up there.
He missed quite a bit of time. Is Goldsmith top 10?
Nope.
Oh man, be close, I would think. Is Arenado top 10?
Nope.
Jose
Okay, I give up.
Ramirez.
Nope.
Ozuna? No, Ozuna.
Jose's 15th. All right, so I'll give it to you guys. Matt Olson is number 5 with 117, so he's right behind Shohei. Austin Riley, 105, is 6th. Jordan
Now we know why I
Alvarez.
wanted to do the top 10.
No, I didn't know. I knew they were up there somewhere, but I didn't know they were right there next to each other. Jordan Alvarez, 104. Soto was 100. That surprised me. Devers, 99. And Santander at 97. Him and Christian Walker tied it for 10th with 97. And so, yeah, you look at those guys. The bottom half of the top 10 weren't even all-stars. Olson, Riley. Was Alvarez? He may have been. I don't know. Soto and Devers were, but Santander and Christian Walker were not. So, yeah, so I don't know who would flip. I guess I'd rather watch Bobby Witt and Gunnar Henderson do it over some of those names. So, but yeah, need some star power in there. Judge,
Definitely.
Ohtani, Schwarber. That would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, Schwarber would just be a blast, I think.
Well,
And
I
they-
had some stats pulled up as well, and I forgot that Julio hit 41 in the first round last year.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, we won't see those
wild.
numbers again with pitch counts. You can only
Yeah.
get 40 max.
Throw 2 balls with 1 pitch. Does that count as 2 pitches? Give him the old double striker.
Yeah, double striker.
No, we could see those numbers again. It'd just be very difficult. 'Cause
Oh
have a
yeah, because you get the
round.
bonus round. That's right. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's correct.
I'll also say maybe before we move on, as a group here, we had a draft of who we
Oh,
thought would
sure, here we
win.
go.
I forgot about
Snake
that.
draft. So that got set up. I was super pleased with how all that fell.
Somebody had to get Teoscar. Nobody chose him. Let's just be fair there.
Anyway, I chose De Oscar Hernandez and I won. So I have a
Do
prize
we
coming.
want to? At what point do you want me to replay the whole conversation, or
Probably not. We'll get deleted if we
I don't remember the whole
show that
conversation, to
text
be
thread.
honest.
okay, you blacked out? Got it.
All right, so let's talk about the game just a little bit. The game wasn't bad. It was more high scoring than a lot of All-Star games lately. First off, we got to talk the jerseys. Got to talk the swag. I really want an Atlanta Braves All-Star hat. Those dark black hats with the blue were sweet.
The hats were nice. The jerseys, they just need to stop.
Those should just be like we say this every year. I think fine, do those for press and do those for the home run derby, maybe, or maybe not home run derby, but do those for practices and pre-game hitting and workouts. But go back to the team jerseys for the game.
1000%.
It's all a way to make money. I get it. It's a
Yeah.
marketing thing. Here's
It's
another
a marketing
jersey,
scheme,
but
but
come
just
on.
do what you just said. Do the jerseys, but then throw an all-star patch on it. People will
Yeah.
still buy that same jersey.
Yeah.
But no, the hats were cool. I'm probably gonna get a Cardinals one too. I like the hats a lot.
But anything stand
yeah.
out? I mean, Otani just said he wasn't going to do the home run derby because he wants to rehab his arm, and he goes off and hits a homer. So
That was actually one of my notes that I wrote down was that homer, because it was really cool to one, I mean, just Otani's just a beast. And I mean, mashed it, and then they showed Judge and Soto in the field, and then Soto literally just watched it go over his head, just looked at Judge, and he just goes smirking, just goes. So it's just cool to for talent to recognize talent like that, and Judge was just
Mhm.
kind of like giving the old I don't know. And then the other note I put was actually had a 6% increase in viewing this year, with you not being able to watch it, Cooney. So
Yep.
you probably could have made that 7% had you
That's
had
right.
access to it. Come on, MLB, let's do a little bit better than this. I forget how hard it is to log into MLB now. I mean, luckily I have my parents' login information, so I still can. But I have a lot of friends who are like, "How are you watching this?" And I'm
Yeah.
like,
And I even
"Oh
have
yeah."
ESPN Plus as part of my Disney Hulu package. And ESPN Plus was not streaming it.
They didn't even have
Amazing.
the stat. There's a Statcast version
Nope.
that they did almost
On-
the.
Yeah, on ESPN2. Couldn't watch that either.
Oh, it was on 2. I thought it was on Plus.
Yeah, it's on ESPN2.
That's crazy.
I find it. Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna try to bring up. You said it was kind of high scoring. I was wondering how it was compared to the past few years. I'm getting close here. I find it amazing that 8 runs can be scored. They always say good pitching beats good hitting, and I still believe that 100%. And when these guys are going out there for 1 inning and just max efforting things, and the ball is so fast and moving so much, the fact that they got 8 runs here is pretty wild to me. And then I had somebody send me a stat on this Jaron Duran, who ended up winning the game for the AL before the All-Star break. First American League player to record all of the following before the All-Star break: 100 hits, 10 triples, 10 homers, and 20 stolen bases. So this guy, I mean, I don't know whose list he was high on. I'm sure somebody had him high on the list. But for me, he's kind of come out of nowhere. If he was highly regarded, I don't remember hearing about him, and he's been solid his first few years.
He was a
but-
top prospect a couple years ago when he came up, and I think maybe if you got his stats, he may have been a second baseman in the minors for a while. And they're like, this guy's just so fast. I think he's the fastest guy in the league right now. Maybe Bobby Witt's slightly faster by sprint speed, but they put him out center field, and yeah, he was okay. But this year, you're right, dude.
10
just think this
triples before
happens.
the All-Star break. That's wild.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like Jose
And
Reyes or
Boston
somebody.
too. Maybe he's getting some weird bounces, but overall,
Yeah.
Boston doesn't have a whole lot of space unless you're hitting it in the right spots.
Yeah.
It's not a huge outfield.
I know
Like if
this
he was
takes
in
away,
Colorado, sure, fine, but Boston's a lot different.
I know this takes away from the All-Star game, and we'll just get back on track for a second. But talking about Boston, I just feel like every time that they're just like, we're rebuilding, they just have this team all of a sudden. Like they're 53 and 42.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like,
where'd that come from as well,
like
right?
it's insane. So I
Mhm.
don't know, kudos to them, but I mean he's definitely a piece for them to get them rolling Devers and all that fun stuff. But the only other note on the All-Star game I had was I just put more mic'd up players, man. They had a lot of people mic'd up, and that's just such a cool element. Like that, I think that just adds so much to the game and like viewing. I mean, at one point they had Baum, Turner, and Harper all mic'd up at the same time, which sorry, I know that hurts to hear, Aaron, but
Oh, I would
um,
take Bomb, whatever. I'd take the other two, no problem. I wouldn't play. I wouldn't play Turner at shortstop, but I would take him.
but I don't know. Like again, we've talked about MLB marketing itself and making it easier to view, but find a way to get your games broadcasted more and mic up the players and just listen to them. Like it's a blast and a lot of fun. So figure it out, MLB.
I wonder, like
It's
part
a
of it,
blast.
I get like you don't want to be distracting the players while it's going on. So, do you think it'd be worth it to mic them up but not give them an earpiece just so we can listen to the game?
I think you figure
Some of
out.
it's the interaction between the
Yeah,
player and the broadcaster with the questions and stuff. I get that, but like
I
you
think
don't want them getting hurt.
sure. I think you figure out a way to
What was
take
your
the Sunday.
suggestion, Aaron?
Would it be worth it to mic them up but not give them an earpiece so you can hear everything, but that takes away the distraction of the broadcasters talking to you? But at least we get to
No,
hear the interaction between the players.
I think Sunday Night
I
Baseball does it good. Like I think they ask the questions in between the slow times and give the player time to one react to the play and or ask the question, wait for an answer type of situation. They're not like hounding him in his ear.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think you could figure it out to where I see what you're saying. Maybe
that
Mike still mic him up regardless, so you have that funny comedic
Mm-hmm.
afterwards, or whatever. But like, I don't know. I think they're professionals and they can figure it out while
I'm
they're
okay with it. I like it. Yeah.
yeah.
I think you would have to have the bleep button on rapid
Oh, I
press.
mean, you hear it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, but Mike and I know
Wait,
the NFL does it a little bit, and it's
yeah.
just one guy, and as they go throughout the game, it's just like
You tape delay it 10 seconds and so you can bleep it. Somebody watching the whole time. Beep, 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 beep. But
No,
yeah,
oh,
the other thing
er,
that I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on was Paul Skeens getting the start. I mean, he's
why
filthy.
not?
That's fine. I'm okay with it. Just
yeah. I think why not? I don't really
we
know
hadn't had a
what
chance to talk about
competition
it.
he had as far as starters to go against. Do you ever?
I mean, I'll play the homer card. Chris Sale's leading in everything.
I mean, sure, that's a good choice. I forget
Him
he's in the NL now.
him and Reynaldo Lopez are 1-2 in ERA, and Lopez is running away with that.
Is that just because Skeens doesn't have enough innings?
Yeah, I mean, he's made what, 8 starts? I don't know. But the flip side is All Star is, the showcase, and that's the biggest draw right now. Like everybody was talking. I hope somebody in the top three walks so that Skeen gets to face Judge, and that's exactly what happened. Soto walked, and so Skeen's got to face Judge. So I
Yeah,
mean, it's the eyes too. Like I don't know if you saw too. The red carpet was the biggest red carpet, maybe second biggest red carpet ever and like I didn't even know they put that on TV. I didn't know it was a thing, but it's because Paul Skeens and Livy Dunn were on there. And so like everybody was tuning in to watch. So I'm okay with him starting, but I saw a lot of people in the socials saying that he didn't deserve it. He barely made the All-Star team and yada yada yada. But
I mean, I think he deserved it. I mean, his numbers back that up. I mean, sure,
mm-hmm,
there's those people are just bad because like he's coming in and dominating, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I mean, hitting 100, 102. He's got some pretty solid breaking stuff. Like I, I, I don't
Yeah,
see why he wouldn't deserve it.
he is so fun to watch, man. Those Pirates are going to be trouble for your Cardinals for a while with that rotation they're building. It's filthy.
Until they trade him.
Well, your rotation is going to die off soon. So yeah, you have a new one, but
Because of old age, or
yeah, and artery blockage. All right. Anything else about the All-Star game?
Are we still talking about the All-Star game? We're like 30 minutes into this.
We covered all. Yeah, we are. We only got 3 things on our agenda. So we're going to go to the trade deadline. Just kind of talking in general. Maybe some names you think might be moved. Maybe if you got a way to fix your team. I mean, the Cardinals are actually playing good right now. So I can't.
Lol.
Joe can't mouth them right now. I mean, he can't.
Their
He
game
will.
start yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
It
Got
got canceled.
postponed.
Got postponed.
Doubleheader tomorrow.
Sweet. Can't watch those either, so that's all right. But yeah, so anything about the trade deadline you guys want to throw out there?
For speaking on the Cards real quick, I don't know what moves they can make. I think Burleson is actually surprisingly playing into a position where he's not going to sit the bench. Tommy Edman supposedly come back pretty soon, so he'll get a starting spot. So then I kind of think that makes your outfield set. Obviously pitching is a need. Donovan is playing in an amazing left field and batting very well. I mean, honestly, like what I would love to do is somehow trade Goldschmidt and move Burleson to first, and then
You
we
can
have an
trade him.
outfield.
Oh, he's probably. I mean, he's gonna have that no trade, huh?
I don't know if he does or not.
Maybe
I'm sure he
cut
does.
him. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think we talked about this last pod. I can't remember. That was like so long ago. But when Edmund comes back, Siani's a Gold Glover. Now he's the best defensive center fielder in the game right now. Him and that Doyle guy in Colorado, clearly the top two. If everybody else is hitting, which they're doing okay right now, you could live with that in the 9th spot. But do you put Edmund at center with more bat, or do you put Edmund at second and move Nolan back and forth between first and third and DH? Like, what do you do with Gorman? Or are you send Gorman down?
They'll play Gorman. Gorman could bat 100. They'll still play Gorman for whatever reason.
I would believe that. Yeah, I think I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Gold Glove defense, okay, but we know it's you hit, you play. It's not if you play Gold Glove defense, you play, and that's just the baseball rule. That's one of the written rules. So the fact that Michael Ciani continues to get regular at bats just blows my mind. I mean, I don't even know how to say what's going on in my mind because there's so much elite knowledge. No, you don't continue to play Ciani. He can't hit. He does small things well. He can play defense, but it's not like there's that much of a drop off from Carlson or Edmund or whoever's playing in center field.
So your move is Edmund in center, Gorman at second, and then defensive replacement late games if you got the lead.
I mean, I'd have to think about it a little bit more, but off the top of my head, sure, that sounds. Yeah. I mean,
because Edmund's a Gold Glove infielder too. So if you got Wynn and Edmund and Ciani up the middle, I mean, nobody's scoring. Oh man, I just pulled up Michael Ciani's Baseball Savant. That actually hurt my feelings a little bit, and I don't really have a dog in the fight.
A lot of blue.
Well, if you call it that. So if you're not familiar with Baseball Savant, it's got 0 to or maybe 1 to 100. Starts dark blue, goes bright red. Of course, you want to be close to 100. You want to be the best. Batting run value is 1.
Plays every day. Gets 4 at bats a game.
His fielding run value is 100. So he is literally out there for his defense. Base running value is 83, but he's not on base. So I guess that doesn't matter. His bat speed does not qualify, which I'm not for sure how that's a possibility when you've played 214 plate appearances and your bat speed still hasn't been registered. Dude, it is bad. 1% expected on base, 6% batting average, 1% in slugging, 1% in the exit velo. Yikes. Excellent defender, though. Excellent defender.
Oddly enough, it sounds like you are describing me and Michael Ciani,
dude,
to a T.
Yeah. This is the major league version of Varsity Jared Lee. Is exactly what I'm seeing here. Yikers.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't have enough.
Really?
He doesn't have enough squared up.
Okay, Siani sucks. We know that. I've said that all year.
I'm with you now.
You said a little surprising on Burleson hitting. Not a surprise to me. I knew he would hit. He's been a hitter his whole life. That's true. I mean, go look at his stats before. Yeah, Cooney can't wait to look him up.
No, I know he can
Um,
hit. This is the opposite. 78% batting, fielding, 9 percentile.
I mean,
Exact opposite.
he's built like a power forward from 1982. So yeah, whatever that means. They were probably actually in pretty good shape. But so one thing that the Cardinals GM did, or he's not even the GM now. What do these people call themselves?
President of baseball operations.
I mean, let's make up a title so we can feed our ego a little bit more. But one thing the Cardinals guy did, and all GMs do this to like temper the fan base's expectations, is they say, well, we got three guys coming back from the injured list, so that's like three trades right there. We just got to get them guys healthy. It's like, are you
Yes.
kidding me? We say this every year.
Yes.
They don't get healthy. You pick up John Lester, who's 42 years old, and you think he's going to be a second half Cy Young, and then you just lull at your fans from your box seats. So I always love hearing GMs say that, and the Cardinals, Mozeliak is the king of saying, "Oh, we just got to get our guys healthy. We'll be good."
So what do you do though? Because I do think in this case, the Cardinals lineup is going to be deep with lots of options,
I'll
like
tell you what you do.
moving pieces. So what do you do? And the rotation's been fine.
And
Bullpen.
this, no, that I actually think it's the reverse, Aaron. The bullpen has been ridiculously overplaying. They have starters that give you good outings and then bad outings. But what needs to be done, and Mozeliak has been one of the few. Every GM is thinking this, but Mozeliak's been one of the few to say like it's not going to happen. And the guy's name is Trevor Bauer, who for some reason still can't even sniff an MLB roster, but he's a starter. He is currently has no felonies on his record.
Yeah, I mean,
and is pending none. So why that's who I would go sign in a heartbeat. I would have done it 4 months ago.
so you're adding to the pitching staff, and you think the position players
100%. Yeah.
will
They need
will
a
shake up
starter.
with you on that?
100%.
If you could move one of the position players, who are you moving? If you could trade away somebody.
And expect to get any value out of it, or just
No, just a clear spot. Just get some of the money off the books, even maybe.
I mean, probably Arenado. It looks like he's washed, and he's still got years left. Goldschmidt's at least a free agent after this year, and his money's gone. So, I mean, Arenado's playing barely replacement level. So,
Yeah.
stick me over there. I'll give you the same effort and same stats.
Do it, Jared. What about you? You fixing the staff as
With
well?
Joe. I mean, I think the pitching staff is definitely the one that you have to go after. I think we've said it here. Playoff baseball is a little bit different. Pitching makes you go pretty far. If we're trading to get money off the books, I don't think you're going to move Arenado.
I don't
I know
think so
Gold's a
either.
free agent, but I think you could maybe somehow look at trying to trade him to a contender where he can get a change of scenery and help a team for this last playoff push. If you're looking for, but I mean, he's not helping his case at all. Say for any sort of value, I think Gorman could go somewhere, but I mean, that averages is not helping him whatsoever.
That's 17 bombs.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, you're paying for the homers, but I don't know. We'll probably trade the wrong outfielder, like we usually do.
Johnny's going to go be a superstar someplace else.
100%, 100%. So yeah, I think you look at the pitching staff and see what you can do there. But again, it's not really the Cardinal way. And Joe said it best with our baseball operations person just saying that, hey, we got people coming back from the IL basically means we're not doing anything this trade deadline. So typical
Yeah.
Cardinals trade deadline, nothing too exciting. So what about the Braves? Real quick there.
Yeah, I think they're going to say the same thing that Mozeliak's saying. We've got all these guys coming back from injury, except for Acuna, obviously. But Michael Harris should be back by the end of July. And so we've been playing we mentioned earlier off camera, Duvall and Rosario are playing every day, and they're both hitting OPSs under 600. I looked up Orlando Arcia. He is basically the shortstop version of Ciani, only he's slow. But his expecting batting average is 199. He's hitting 244. So he's actually hit 244 with luck. Considering he was an all-star last year is amazing. The only position player they have at AAA that would make a difference is a shortstop. His name's Nacho, so that'd be fun to see Nacho come up and play. But all accounts are like his best days playing defense at shortstop would be Arcia's worst days. So like it'd be a stretch for him to play at this level. That Arcia could play defense. So I don't know if they'll move anything there because the rest of the offense should be fine. But eventually, I go get another outfield. You're going to have Kelenic and Harris in the outfield. I don't think at this point you can rely on Duvall, Rosario platooning again.
At least to get to the playoffs.
In the other spots. Yeah, Duvall is OPS and over 800 against lefties. So he's still crushing lefties, but he can't hit a righty to save his life. And Rosario's had long enough time to see if he can do it. And he played bad with the Nationals. The Nationals cut him. Braves tried it for nothing. It's just a flyer on him. He's still not getting it done. So I actually saw an interesting name yesterday that I would absolutely love. I think it'd be like a Jock Peterson-esque boost to the clubhouse and the fan base and the team. I saw Cody Bellinger as a possible trade target for the Braves. He's on that 1-year deal with the Cubs. The Cubs have fallen out. They need to sell. He'd be an excellent platoon mate with Duvall. And you could play either of them out in left field and have excellent defense. I mean, all of a sudden you'd have Kelenic, who can play center in one corner. You'd have Duvall and Bellinger, who can both play center in the other corner with Michael Harris's elite center field defense, and they all would hit. So that'd be the one thing I could see would be a Bellinger-esque lefty bat.
You think with the Central being as close, there'll be any sellers there?
Yeah, I mean, in another
The Cubs are
week or
definitely
two.
a disappointment. I mean,
Yeah,
being-
and Bellinger's on that 1-year deal. So, like, they've got to move him. They got outfielders coming up this system. If they're going to sign him to a long-term deal, they would have done it last year. They kind of just lucked into keeping him this year because nobody else wanted to pay him for whatever reason. So I would, like, why would you keep him when you could replace him with a younger guy?
I just looked something up that's interesting. Bellinger is on a 3-year deal.
It's an opt-out, though, isn't it?
It is. He's under contract for this year, next year, player option for 2026.
Oh, so it's next year's is the option. Okay, I thought it was the
Mhm.
option after this year. So maybe they don't move him yet then, but they might.
It's still not relatively expensive.
Yeah. And the Braves aren't worried about the money. So that's
Right.
nice. The other lefty bat that I'm intrigued by, and you guys know I love him, but would they trade interdivision is Jazz Chisholm. His name keeps coming up. The Marlins are going to move him. The Marlins are going to move him.
Yep.
If he could go to left field and have a platoon partner, maybe stay healthy a little bit, and his fun and excitement for a couple of years. Because I'm guessing they would be okay with a short-term addition that's beyond this year, because I would think Acuna is going to DH quite a bit next year, coming off a second knee surgery. Even though Ozuna has been their best hitter for a year and a half now, he ain't paying him $20 million to DH again. Like,
Or play the outfield.
I bet.
yeah, he's definitely not playing the outfield.
You
So
don't
I
think
think
they pay Ozuna $20 million to DH after this season?
not when Acuna is going to need DH. Like, it's kind of, I think there's enough moving pieces that Ozuna's gone. That's my gut feeling. He's been awesome for a year and a half now, but before last year, he was horrible. And then the year before that, he was MVP runner up to Freeman. So it's been weird. Braves run. We've definitely got our money's worth. But to have a DH only aging vet on this roster with Acuna coming back doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean,
And I
it's
also
possible
selfishly want to keep that DH spot open a year after that for when
for
Freddie
me.
for Freddie to come back DH.
You made a point earlier about trading within the division. I don't feel like we see that hardly ever. Not with any names of note. You know, teams that are just for obvious reasons so scared of that backfiring, and
Right.
it's 10 times as bad as if you do it in your own division, I guess. But
But if you break it down, like the amount of games that you play, the amount of games that you face that team, it's really not that
I,
many.
I agree. I've always thought that that was kind of ridiculous
It's
how it
not as
seems
big a
like
deal
teams
now
are
for
so.
sure. With more teams making the playoffs, it's not as crucial.
Yeah.
But as far as the pitching goes, the Braves have the number 1 ERA right now.
I
Their
think you're good there.
bullpen's loaded.
Without Strider, no big deal.
Yeah, 3 All-Stars plus Charlie Morton rocking sub 4 ERA still.
Charlie Morton.
Swellenbeck is going to pitch
Swole.
against the Cardinals. He's supposed to pitch tonight, so you guys get to see Swellenbeck tomorrow. He just keeps getting better. He started his major league debut. He knew 3 pitches. He now throws six pitches, and he throws them all like 15 to 30% of the time. Like the dude is just a freak athlete who was a shortstop at college and closed his senior year, so he's barely been pitching, and is already in the majors with like 100 minor league
crazy.
innings under his belt. Plus Ian
Pretty cool,
Anderson.
though.
Ian Anderson is in AAA rehabbing. He's throwing like a beast, and that guy's got a sub 2 playoff ERA and hasn't pitched in a year and a half. So there's a couple pieces coming back that we can hold down the 5-6 man rotation and keep the playoffs ready for Sale and Fried and Lopez.
Jay Lee made
Yeah.
a good point before we. I don't know if we were
Okay.
going. It's the first one I ever remember, Jared, but it's
Same.
popping into my mind now. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of big names being moved. Like last year, it was. I hope I'm not thinking of free agency because I know there's a lot of big stuff happening there too. But there was premier talent. Like, are they going to be moved? Are they not going to be moved? Who are they going to go to? We're not seeing or hearing any of that really. I mean,
No.
you have some maybe young, really high upside guys on some crappy teams that maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
I think we were talking about it a little bit before we got on here, but a name that keeps getting brought up, and I just don't see it happening because Detroit would just destroy their pitching staff. Is Tariq Subbal's name just keeps
Yeah.
getting brought up, and I'm like, there ain't no way they're gonna do that. And then
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Mason Miller. Like, I know Oakland's about to move, and I think they're gonna have a lot more money to not have to trade these players away. So I wouldn't think they would trade their best player, but I go, it is Oakland. You never know.
Mhm.
I think Chaz gets traded too. Like his name, that's just heating up even more and more. It seems like the
Yeah.
Marlins are going to trade everybody. Tanner Scott's going to be gone. Jazz is going to be gone. And then the interesting thing I saw while I was doing a little bit of reporting, seems like the Blue Jays are opening up the doors to like anybody. They said even players with control. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's the one team that could drop in some big names because Vlad and Bichette both have a year and a half of contract control. And they got some decent pitchers. They're all under contract for next year as well. So, like Bassett, Gossman, those guys. But that's the one team. You look at the rest of these teams that are clear sell mode right now. There's a reason they're in sell mode. There's a reason they're at the bottom of the standings. Mason Miller I know, of course, you got to ask. Everybody, I'm sure every GM has asked the price on Mason Miller. But if I'm Oakland, I'm moving him back to the rotation next year and then maybe trading. It gets hot. If he's the starting pitcher doing this, all of a sudden that value goes up. Because he was a starter for a little bit in the minors, but could never stay healthy and hasn't thrown a whole lot of innings ever in a year. So I know that's why they got him in the pen right now. But because the other team that had the name power that was going to be in the trade market but got hot was the Mets. The Mets are now over 500. When entering July, they were near the bottom of the East, and they had some names like Alonso and stuff. But it seems like they're. I mean, I think they're the third wildcard team right now. Actually,
it's pretty wild. You have teams. I guess there's just two that come to mind, but San Diego and New York, they tried to like buy their way in, and then they're like, "Well, that didn't work. Let's not try." Now they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make the playoffs." So maybe I should shut my mouth about teams overspending and how it works because there's a couple examples of apparently do the opposite. And I mean, it's not like they got low payrolls, but
yeah,
I mean, the Mets are even like blatantly saying like, "Well, we're not going to try this year. We'll see what happens," right?
Yeah, they were saving up because I think they want to be in the Soto mix next year. And of course, Alonso comes off the books too. If you look at the wild card right now, there's 2 teams in the National League that are 15 and a half games out. Everybody else is within 5. Rockies and Marlins are the teams that are way off. And then in the American League, there's 4 teams. Blue Jays, which we talked about, could be real interesting sellers. That's why they got to sell, because they have more talent to sell than these other 6 teams combined. The Angels don't have anybody. Athletics got young guys. I mean, they got like Rooker and Andujar we've talked about, but not huge names. And the White Sox, I mean, Paul DeYoung, I can see him getting traded. He's having an okay year, actually.
Is he really?
But I don't think they're going to move. He's got 17 homers, something like that, I think. But like Garrett Crochet, everybody's wanting Garrett Crochet. Well, of course, because he's young, he's controllable, he's a stud. So why would the White Sox move him? So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers, they could fall back if they have a bad start to second half. All of a sudden, they're 10 out. They would have some pieces because they got all these guys coming back that they're going to have like 6 or 7 starters. Move somebody. But yeah, Blue Jays are the big ones that can make it real interesting real fast.
But before we move on, last thing I'll say is just I think I may have a new favorite pitcher, and I hope the Cardinals trade for this Tariq Skubal. All left-handed and 1.6 balls per 9 innings. So
In your dreams.
8.87 whip. Trade Mason win for him.
Jay makes a win for him and Javi Baez, man. Got it all fixed.
Oof.
The other thing that happened this week that we just want to touch on real quick is a draft. The draft always happened in a weird time, but now that it's moved to the All-Star weekend and a few more people showed up. Like in the past, they would invite these prospects to come hang out the draft, and it was like nobody ever came. But a few showed up this time, and so any thoughts on the draft? I didn't follow it too closely. The Braves got Ken Caminetti's cousin, Cam Caminetti, which is a sweet name, a left-handed pitcher that's already thrown in the mid-90s as a senior in high school. They just signed him today, actually, to like $3.5 million, something like that. So he's in the system. But other than that, there's one intriguing name. I don't know who wants to talk about him.
That's Joe. He's got him in.
Joe-
Joe's my
gonna-
cue?
Yeah, Joe's going to try.
You guys were being for real when you said that earlier?
Yeah, I passed this off because I didn't want to mess it up.
With the number 15th pick in the draft, the Seattle Mariners pick Jurangelo. Could have been a Ninja Turtle, but decided to play baseball. Jurangelo Sanja, the
Nailed it.
amphibious
Crushed
pitcher
it.
out of Mississippi State.
Yes.
If we
Apparently
said that
throws
wrong,
9
you're more than welcome to come on here and correct us, Durangelo.
That is
Please
very true.
be our first guest.
Mm-hmm.
Be
Ah,
our guest.
yes.
Be our guest. Get on the mound. Let me get in the box and take you deep from both sides of the plate. Apparently, he throws 99 with his right and 95 with his left. Which
You're on a Little League park, Joe, ain't taking you deep.
so that's pretty wild. Not a very big guy, 5'11", 200, but I hope we see that at some point. I know there was a rule made where like the pitcher has to declare before the batter comes up, right?
I think it's the other way around.
No, I think I'm right. I could be wrong. There's
Yeah,
either two.
50-50 chance. He's 5'11", 200, right?
Jared, look that up for us.
Jared, how
Yeah.
big are you? You're about 5'11", aren't you? 6 foot?
I am 5'11", not 200.
Yeah, you're like, what, 175? So this guy is your height with 25 extra pounds
Jared's
of
like
muscle.
155.
Okay, with 45 extra pounds of muscle. 'Cause he's not, I mean, he's a stout dude.
I
He's
guess,
not-
yeah. I mean,
That's a tank, man. I mean, I was 5'11", I was 85 pounds.
got pictures to prove it.
Yeah, I was 17.
So, yeah, I mean, everybody hopes we can see that. That would be a great thing to see, a great story.
Yeah, we had Pat Venditti, or I'm not sure how to say his name, Van Diet, who made a few appearances in the majors, I don't know, 5-10 years ago now. Blue Jays,
Who's that
Yankees,
for?
maybe. Blue Jays and Yankees. I think he's worked. I'm not sure. Maybe the Rockies too. I can't remember. Like he kept getting jobs because it's cool that you could throw two arms, you equal two pitchers, but he topped out mid to upper 80s, depending on which arm he was throwing. He was kind of a junk baller from both sides, and it was a cool trick. He's from Creighton, maybe. Is that where he played college ball?
That sounds right.
So he was a cool small school D1 pitcher that people kept trying, but it didn't work out. But this guy's Mississippi State, big SEC school, and can legit bring it from both sides. Dude, that's killer.
So I have the answer.
Okay, you got it. I got it too. Go ahead.
Nice. We'll see if we have the same source. A pitcher must indicate visually to the umpire in chief, the batter, and any runner the hand with which he intends to pitch. Now, the only which hand?
Is that a balk? If I do this, is that a balk? I'm deceiving the runners. They don't know.
Oh no, I got something better. Go ahead.
The only thing to the rule that can change is if he gets hurt mid at bat, he can switch to the other hand.
And then he gets miraculously healed for the next.
But then
batter.
he can't switch back to the other hand for the rest of the game.
Now, do you have to throw three batters with that hand before
probably, right?
Before you can switch to the other hand, or can you switch every batter with the new 3-batter minimum rule?
I don't think it's going to allow you to switch every batter.
Here's my
at
thing.
least from what I read. Yes.
So I'm going to reread the first part of that rule because that's the most important part. A pitcher must indicate visually to the umpire in chief, the batter, and any runners the hand with which he intends to pitch. So I'm pulling both arms inside my jersey and then up through the collar to make sure my thumb is like spinning so fast you can't tell. I'm just going to stick one hand out of the collar and make sure everybody sees it. And then I'm coming back through and I'm throwing with whatever hand I want.
And he's going to put both hands inside the glove. Joe's going to get, instead of a 6-finger glove a lot of these guys have, Joe's going to have a 10-finger glove. Both hands are going to be inside there. Now, how you going to do your wind-up to fake them out? Because as soon as you step with your foot, we're going to know which hand you're going with. Like, you're right-handed, like, you step with your left foot, so I'm going to know right away. Coming righty.
Well, me, I mean, I'm going to have to
double
throw right
striker.
I'm not.
Joe steps with both feet.
Per usual, Jared's taking this to a place that didn't need to be taken to.
My favorite.
You're the one that did it.
I know. Some other guys. I know I mentioned this. Number one, MLB.com actually showed the draft, which when I logged in, I was like, this is a miracle. A second baseman. Shout out to my second baseman out there in the world. That's where they put all the athletes and the best players.
But what did you text us in the group?
What did I say? Second baseman, first overall, Omega Lol or something like that.
Something about worst position in baseball or something like that.
It takes little skill. It takes more skill than any outfield spot. I'll say that.
But now we're back.
See you later. I'm out of here.
It does not take much skill to play second base. So the fact that his second baseman went number one overall must mean that he can hit like a.
From Australia.
Just to throw in the Cardinals guy, because that's what I pay the most attention to. Everybody was pretty high on their first pick, saying how he fell. But then after that, every other round got blasted by every site that I saw. Like none of these guys were even ranked in our top 500, and the Cardinals took them in the next round. So
smart, man. They know something.
Yeah, they know something.
Yeah, I mean with the Cardinals draft, I think I texted you guys we're gonna take a shortstop here or something, and we did. But I did a little more digging, and so I guess I should have shut my mouth. He only played shortstop, I think, his last season at college. So before that, he was primarily second base and played some third base. So sounds like he could. But
I was just gonna say, with as many sophomore slumps and guys coming out of the gate and then never continuing,
I mean, it could be a safe pick.
I'm okay with taking, like, unless you got Honus Wagner playing catcher and then you draft a catcher. I mean, I'm okay with taking the next guy because who knows?
I mean, that's true. I mean, I hope Mason wins, pans out, and you can just throw this guy by the time that Arenado's done, or put him at second base sooner rather than
Mhm.
later. So, I mean, he just destroyed college last year. I think his slash was like 370, something like that, in the Big 12.
Dude,
So,
2 years ago was even better before he was hurt. He batted
yeah.
like 450 or something.
Mhm. So, oh, I mean, like I said in the beginning, I was like, oh, great, another shortstop. But now I dug into it a little bit deeper, some options
Spoil
for him. So,
Spoiler, I didn't get selected again, but I'll be eligible next year.
I thought you did.
No, I was gonna get representation, but I just represented myself and
We all know how that went. You didn't pass the
yeah,
test, did you?
I didn't
What is it?
pass the eye test.
Not the eye test, but what's the type of test? The
Oh, the mental aptitude
personality
test.
tests. Yeah.
Well, the
All
Braves
of them. I didn't pass none of them.
the Braves drafted 9 pitchers in the first 10 rounds, so hopefully one of them pans out. Considering
Not bad.
six of the top 9 prospects right now, the Braves are also pitchers.
Not a bad strategy.
Take them all the arms. All righty, so we got an egg segment, I guess, right, Joe? To
Um,
close this out.
At least that's what you told us.
yeah.
Don't backtrack now.
I
That'd be real
mean,
embarrassing.
no, we definitely got something. I mean, it's dumb, but it's pretty cool too. I just keep getting it was such a hit. It was such a draw, both both literally and figuratively. The appreciate or reinstate segment that we did. And I feel like they both kind of they fall into each other. And I feel like this one may fall into appreciate or reinstate because I'm thinking, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking maybe we bring this back. But before I get into um a rule that was put in place, you know, I think some people are probably ignorant of some of the rules, at least that they exist or when they exist, why they exist, what are the specifics. Um, so I mean, there's a little bit of don't be an egg in here, but there's a lot of appreciate or reinstate. So anyway, I want to start with a story, of course, because stories are the best, right? So
Sorry, guys, we haven't had a pod in 3 weeks, so we're going to get it all in today.
my turn to rattle for 45 minutes.
You're welcome.
If you did not listen to our greatest baseball video games podcast, that was one of our best. I don't know what number that was, but go back and find it. I would say just start from episode 1 and watch all of our episodes until you'll get to the video game episode. But anyway, um, I know I for sure had this on there. I'm guessing maybe Aaron did. I'm not sure if it made our top 5 or 10, but there's a game. It was either Triple Play 2000 or Triple Play 2001. And on this game, I believe it was at the team select. Could have been somewhere else, but I remember doing it when you selected a team. If you went left and right, 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 at a certain point, you would get this weird team with a bunch of weird players. There was one guy that was like 2 foot tall. His name was Corey.
Oh, our best one of
No,
our friends.
It wasn't Corey, but that's funny.
a really short guy who was like super fast. There were several guys
Okay,
that
so
would just
not
hit
our
like
Corey.
800-foot homers. I don't remember his name. As soon as I said 2 foot, I'm like, that's Corey.
Oh,
And one guy that was in there, he had he had a bat that was so big it took up like the entire screen, right? And really the only way to see the bat would be to
a video on it. He's swinging the bat. It's oh.
I mean, it's got to be 30 foot long. You could like pause the game, go to a replay mode, zoom the camera out, and there's this guy swinging this 30 foot, probably 16,000 pound bat. And for a long time, I didn't know why this was a character on the team because he had no special skills other than this bat. Well, the special skill was if you would just square around and bunt, it was a homer every time. The ball always hit the bat because the bat took up the whole screen, and it just, it did the animation of a home run. Anyway, I tell that story to bring up a rule change, and I'm wondering if we should take this rule out. But the rule change happened in 1867, and what the rule change did was it limited a bat to 42 inches, which is still a really long bat, right? I don't know. I don't think anybody's using any 40-inch bats in the MLB today. But apparently before that, there was no restrictions on bat size, which sounds absolutely outrageous. But I guess I'll get everybody's thoughts on, do we need you would think with the history of baseball and as much trial and error that could be accomplished in 10 million at bats. I'm just going to ballpark that. I don't know how many at bats there's been. You probably figure out, hey, 3330 is the perfect size for about everybody. Look at that, Jay Lee. Cooney's showing a picture of it on the screen. His name's Adriano.
Adriano. He's about to take David Wells deep there.
The square around. Anyway, I thought that was, you don't think about things like that. What's the size of the ball? What's the size of a glove? What's the size of a bat? But all these things had to be discussed at some point. And for about the first 15 or so years of baseball, apparently you could go up there with any size of a bat you wanted. So what are you guys' thoughts on? I mean, obviously we're going to stick to the same source material of a wooden product, but do we need all these bat regulations?
What is that?
I don't know if I remember that.
Log
Is the
deck.
bat just like floating?
Yeah, I think it's kind of glitched. Try to find it in his hands, but no.
My mic is about to fall off here.
Rob,
Get the really short guy.
I was trying to find him. I saw him on defense. He had a huge hat. He's playing third base here. Oh, that's his hat. That's all you see. Joe just disappeared. Go for it, Jared. Bats. What do you think?
Joe, normally I'm on board with the band. I guess it would just be, I would
Come on, Jared.
guess the only reason, oh my gosh.
Old man Jeffrey.
I guess
Make
the
sure you
only
check out the
reason I
video,
would
people.
I would say yes is just because how hilarious it would be for someone to just walk up with like a 56-inch bat and you're covering all sides of the plate. But then like the catcher's gonna have to stand so far back or he's gonna get drilled.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
forgot about that part of it.
Yeah. Like catchers, a lot of catchers have been getting hit lately because they're trying to, analytics say the closer you are, the better it is at stealing strikes because the pitches look better. And so that's why a lot of pitchers are getting, or catchers are getting hit now. So, I mean, you'd be knocking the umpire out with that bat. It'd be awesome.
Here-
Look
Here's
at old
what I
man
thought
Jeffrey
of.
on second base.
Old man Jeffrey is 37 feet tall. Here was my idea, which obviously is a good one. Go ahead, Aaron.
Jared batting.
Let's stick.
Okay. Thanks.
So, like, what if you had a bat that you could just hold straight out towards the pitcher and just like mirror his hand, and as soon as the ball comes out, he can't even like get around the bat, and it just hits the bat, and then you
I'm
run.
just poking it out of his
You're saying-
hand.
You're just like poking it.
Yeah.
Poking it out of his
Okay.
hand like a cue stick.
Okay. Now, are you poking the batter as he's going to wind up? Are you messing with him, or what are you doing?
I didn't find no rules that said that was illegal, so
Okay.
until they write it in there, I probably am.
Yeah, I mean, if you hit the catcher, it's catcher's interference. You get first base. If I can hit the pitcher, do I get
Now,
first base?
if we're going to really dive into this, is it just like the length of the bat that there was no thing, or like
It
we're
doesn't say
taking
anything
all-
about diameter or
If
anything.
we're taking all regulations out, I would just get like let me see. I'm like, it's those pizza handles where it's real flat but big.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I just get like a handle attached, and it's just like a door frame, right? The
Yeah.
whole strike zone.
Say like you need to get a
So
button
I
down.
just hold it out.
You're like,
Just
give me the
so-
pizza pan.
All right, I wasn't sold.
Is that the
I'm on
little
board
guy?
now.
Yeah, that dude was super duper fast. I'm talking like around the bases in a second and a half.
Grounder to second, it's a triple. Oh, that's great. That
That's
brings
really
back
how
some
I
memories.
felt, Joe. But I'm in now. If I can get the pizza board, I'm in.
Still to strike out. Jared will swing
Probably.
with a flat and miss everything.
But man, if I make contact, that's
I
what I'm saying.
wonder, did you find the largest bat ever used in a game?
No, but they have this thing called a Google.
I don't know why I remember this. Like this sticks in my head watching. I guess I watched a lot of Cubs back in the day, to be honest. Lance Johnson, I remember him having a 40-ounce bat. I didn't know how big it was. I just Googled Lance Johnson bat size. It's 40 ounces. That's ridiculous. Because Lance Johnson, you guys know what Lance Johnson was in the 90s. He was like one of the top, like fast, speedy defensive center fielders, was like an old school leadoff guy. Played for the White Sox and the Cubs. He had a 40-ounce bat. That's crazy.
I just found out who swung the biggest in MLB history.
Were-
Hall of
Babe.
Famer
Willie Stargell.
Ed Roush swung a 48-ounce bat.
48. Golly. That's insane.
The guy I remember them always talking about was Soriano using a heavy
Yeah.
bat.
Yeah, what was Soriano's? That's true. That's crazy. Like I played slow pitch softball. He's a 30-ounce bat, 33-ounce bat, and I got all day to swing that thing. Can't imagine trying to.
And they also said Babe Ruth once said to have used a 54-ounce.
Here, well, listeners, let us know what you think about that. Let us know what you think what we should do
Soriano
there.
used a 35-inch. That's why he's known for 35-inch, 30
Okay.
around 33 ounces. It
Well,
varied.
he needed to add about 7 more inches. I saw that dude swinging more outside sliders than
That's what
center
Baez
fielder.
needs. Maybe Baez needs this rule, a 50-inch bat. Getting back on track.
I'll
Oh,
also
that's fun.
say that 1965, the size of the catcher mitt was regulated. 1973, no. I'm sorry.
'Cause they were too big.
1950, the size of a first baseman's glove was regulated. So, I mean, that's just 60, 50 years ago. Are we saying up until then you could just have like just have a 20-foot glove and just lay it on
Yeah.
first base?
That's like those guys have this oven mitts now. They touch second base on the steel of the oven mitt, and it's like sticking
Yeah.
off that far off their hand. I'm like, how's that legal? I remember
I
one
would
time.
just have like a
Yeah, you're out there with the
Go gadget.
You're touching second halfway there. They got to have regulations on those things, so surely. I remember that one time. I think Jared, did you coach? No, I think it was the year before that. Mason Damon was in the outfield. Got in trouble for using a first baseman's mitt in the outfield. We didn't know that was a rule. And so then, like 2 days later, it helped because the team we were playing had a center fielder with the wrong mitt. And we're like, hey, that's the wrong mitt. We got a free out of it.
which is weird.
Yeah, like who cares? Because it's the same length as an outfielder mitt. It's just got extra padding, so I don't know why it matters. It'd actually be harder, I would think.
That sounds awful. Yeah.
Yeah, I never used a first baseman. I always used an outfielder's glove, even when I played first, because they're so heavy. All right, that was fun. I think, don't need the regulations, but if you can swing it, you can swing it. Like you're not going to go big bat nowadays with 100 miles per hour coming at you. You just have no chance.
You're swinging pretty early if you are.
Pitcher's walking up to the rubber, and you're already swinging. You start swinging when the clock gets to 5 seconds because you know the pitch is coming.
Strategy.
All righty, guys. Well, I picked up some matchups for the weekend. I didn't look at today's scores. I looked at Saturday's schedule, assumed they're playing today. So I don't know what these games are in right now.
I
Don't have
don't-
probables
I don't
for
know
you.
either.
All right, so we got a lot of rivalries coming out of the break here. It's going to be a big weekend of baseball if the weather cooperates. So out in the AL East, we have the Rays at the Yankees. Rays at Yankees. Rays need to either get hot and buy, or they're going to be in sell mode. Probably do both anyway, because that's how the Rays operate. But the Yankees trying to fend off the Orioles at the top of the division. So, Jared, what do you got?
Yankees.
Did you give any pitching matchups there?
No, I don't have any. I didn't want to look too much into what's going on already.
Yep. So pick blind, just like me. Let's go, Joe.
Let me see who won tonight's game real quick first. Kidding, settle down. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna pick the
He's
Yankees
definitely
here, right?
looking.
I was trying to see,
The score, we know.
yeah, Yankees. I didn't
gonna go-
look.
I'll go Tampa Bay to be different, and the Yankees lineup is really struggling besides Judge and Soto. So Tampa get hot here real quick. All right, Baltimore at Texas.
Birds.
You know, let me look at Texas real quick.
We got some guys getting healthy. They could get hot and have a great second half, get back in this, but are they going to do it this weekend?
I mean, when I look and see Michael Lorenzen is their number 3, that's kind of a lull. So that's definitely Baltimore.
I'm going Baltimore as well. Don't think Texas is quite ready there. Maybe in August they get hot. Padres at Guardians.
Give me the Padres.
I would probably say Padres, but to give them some bad mojo because they're fighting the Cardinals there, let's go Cleveland by 15.
I'm going San Diego. I still don't know how Cleveland's hanging in there. I mean, they're actually hitting this year, which they weren't supposed to do. So I don't know. I'll go San Diego. I got Brewers at Twins.
Twins.
Can I even name 2 Twins players?
You can't even name 2 Cardinals players.
That's barely.
How do you barely name somebody?
If their name is barely.
Golds? Nolan Tornado?
Didn't somebody say Byron Buxton was going to win the MVP? Or is that
Yeah,
like
Corey did. He also had AJ Puck as Cy Young. So, you know.
Corey? Since we know you listened to this whole thing, that was stupid.
He also picks Donkey Kong. Don't forget.
Even dumber. Looks like they've had some bad luck with their pitching. Those numbers should be better based on some of the things that I'm seeing. I said the Milwaukee will win, but to give them bad mojo for the Cardinals' sake, I'll say Minnesota.
I'll say Milwaukee. Love me some little Billy Contreras. All right, last one. An interesting matchup that we didn't think would be important this year, but it is. And Jared kind of alluded to him earlier. How are they good? Red Sox at Dodgers.
Give me the Red Sox there.
at Dodgers.
Looks like Glasnow's not supposed to pitch until after that series, so Dodgers. Nobody likes the AL.
I'll go Red Sox. All righty, so I got Tampa, you guys got Yankees, we all got Baltimore. Joe has Cleveland, we have Padres. I have Milwaukee, you guys have Minnesota. Joe has Dodgers, we have Boston. So Jared's the only one that never picked a team by himself. But I guess he went first, so I can't really blame him. That's awesome.
And we still don't know how that works.
Thank you, Apple products. All righty, guys. Well, there we have it. That's the first ranking position in the month of July, I think, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So next week's going to be iffy because I'm out of the country and I do the editing. So probably not, I guess, unless you guys figure it out. I hope you do. I
We'll
could
make-
try to phone in from Bolivia. That'd be fun. It's only an hour ahead of you guys.
We'll try to make it happen.
All righty. So second half starting tonight. Braves Cardinals got postponed, so got a dub chub tomorrow to get the second half underway. So, and we are 11 days away from the trade deadline, so it's gonna be coming fast. It's July 30th this year, so a lot of stuff's gonna happen over the next couple weeks. Hopefully, be really exciting. Corey, we missed you. We'll see you next
Yeah.
time. Wow. But
Look.
until then, don't forget to
Rick!
Position.
The Earl. More than one.
Yeah, that's fun.